You're traveling through another Mystic Michaela podcast, a podcast not only of mediumship and aura colors, but of Scott's humor, a journey into the empathic land whose boundaries are that of imagination. That's the download. Up ahead, your next stop, the Know Your Aura Astral Sex Edition.
Whoa. Welcome to Know Your Aura with Mystic Michaela. And yes, this is the Astral Sex Edition. If you have children who you normally, so many of our listeners listen to this podcast with their kids, might not be the podcast for them today because we're talking about astral sex, man. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
So how'd this start, Scott?
Well, first of all, before we actually get into it,
Yeah.
I do want to thank Rod Serling for doing the opening.
Yes, that was nice of him to come back from the dead.
Yes,
possibly?
he did. Yes, he died in 1975, the year I was born.
Oh.
Maybe that's me. Oh. So anyway, yes, I want to thank him. He said he would only do it for one episode.
Great.
Next episode, we go back to our original format.
Yes.
But I want to thank him. Anyway, so I was watching the news the other day.
Yeah.
Okay. And, I figured, just typical news. But on the news, there was this woman, I think she's a doctor,
Right.
who was proclaiming something about astral sex.
Right.
With like demons and all these things.
Yeah.
So as soon as I saw it, it brought me back to that episode that you did on astral travel.
Yes, episode 12.
Now, unfortunately, I never listened to the episode on astral travel.
That's nice of you.
Yeah, I should have probably listened to it. But I saw the word astral, and I'm like, wait a second, isn't that something that, Miss Michaela and the spiritual family
the way she says it, too. She's like, astral sex. Like, it's it's like I'm watching CNN, and someone's like, astral sex. And I'm like, what is happening in 2020?
Yeah.
It's making it to CNN.
Right.
Astral sex.
That's crazy. So I figured, well, who else would know better about this than the group? So I put it on the Mystic Michaela Spiritual Family Facebook group, and I got all these crazy responses right after, who's going to know about
crazy
this?
Responses from normal people.
Yes. So I had no idea what it was.
Yeah.
And we took a poll.
We did.
Our admin took a poll.
Yeah, Leanna took a poll.
Yep. And it came out that this number is going to blow your mind. It is higher than the amount of people in Iceland that believe in fairies and elves.
Okay.
46% of the Mystic Michaela spiritual family on Facebook has had astral sex. 46%.
Right.
I am not in that number.
That's a big. So you have no idea what this is.
I have no idea what this is.
And we're actually, I'm going to do a little talk on it. And then we actually have a Mystic Michaela spiritual family member coming on to share a very passionate astral sex experience. It's very rated MA.
Wow.
So stay tuned for that. That's at the end of the episode.
I mean, I have a feeling, I've been on a quest to get more guy listeners.
Yeah.
I think, and I am pretty much the founder of Strip Podcast. This might be the episode where you really combine the two.
Right.
You combine the Strip Podcast with, the Jumanji being the key word.
Yeah.
And with this astral sex person that's coming on.
Well, you have a theory that people can't get out for actual sex.
Right.
Because it's the pandemic.
So
astral sex is a safe sex alternative, you told me?
Well, we got to find out if it's safe.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe what we should do first is rehash what astral travel is and all that.
Yes. What is astral travel? What are we even talking about?
Yeah, and we'll get into it.
Let's do that. So I have talked about astral travel before. If you want to check out more of a deep dive on it, it's episode 12. But I wanted to do a mini revisitation of it for today's episode because if you want to know what astral sex is, you have to know what astral projection is first. Another name for this occurrence would be an out-of-body experience. And we have heard about these maybe more frequently. For example, people who have a near-death experience often report floating above the room or a place where things are happening to them and watching their body from above. And they report all sorts of things that they couldn't know unless they were awake and conscious and seeing it. But it's not an uncommon thing that people report. Astral projection is an out-of-body experience, but it's not as traumatic. And it's something actually many people experience often in their lives. It's the experience where the astral body leaves the physical body and can journey on other planes of existence. All right. I know that sounds a little nutty, but it's like when you have a dream and it feels more than a dream. That's what you feel before you know what it's called. In this state, you can visit people anywhere, but they are in their higher self form, meaning it's more of an actual representation of who they are. It's their pure selves. You can have conversations with them, which are very honest, which can bring closure, or which can just bring a feeling of joy or happiness or connection. Sometimes you can have these experiences and meet those who have crossed over, too. That's another way you can astral travel. You can have experiences with loved ones from the other side, because on certain planes of existence, you can meet up with the other side, like a neutral ground, so to speak. So it's not the other side that you're going to. It's more of a place where they can come and you can go, and it's for visitation purposes. These experiences will often feel very real and can leave you for days after, for years after, feeling like they were significant, like they were real, like it was more than a dream. I hear all the time people having experiences with their twin flames and astral projection experiences, where they will have talks with these relationships from the past. And sometimes they get closure, and sometimes they just have this feeling of togetherness. And a big question, this is a big question, does the other person who you are interacting with remember? Well, not always. It's true. They don't usually. And one of the ways you can check to see if it was real is in your astral travel, simply ask them to give you a sign later that this was real, or that they on some level recognize that this happened. This works better. And I promise you, if you practice the astral traveling enough, because in an astral travel, you actually have more control than in a dream. So you're like lucid dreaming. That's when you are, okay, I feel like I'm in a dream. I'm aware that you can have lucid dreaming, which is a little different. So that's like when you're dreaming and you know it's a dream. So you're in a dream and you're like, I think this is a dream. But then astral traveling is the next step, where you have awareness. I think I'm astral traveling. I know I'm astral traveling. Okay. And this is an actual experience out of your body. And you can put something in the conversation, which you can see for yourself later. For example, let's say you have an astral visitation with someone from your past who you don't talk to anymore. And the next day they'll like a photo on social media, or they'll text you out of the blue, or suddenly you'll see a photo of them pop up in a place you didn't see before, or you hear your song on the radio and the song is unique and like 10 years old and there's no reason they'd be playing it. Or maybe a mutual friend brings up this person's name. There's little things that can give you the confirmation that this was more than a one-sided dream. So you have to acknowledge you want to astral travel to get better at it. And once you get better at it, it's like a muscle, like anything. The more you use it, the more you can do with it and the stronger you get. So it is something to be worked on. The thing with astral projection is that you have to want it to happen in order to remember it happening, and also to make the most of it. We all astral travel, all of us. It's just really easy to forget about it, especially if you're kind of turned off to the idea of it, or you're not open to it, or whatever. Your ego is an amazing tool that our human bodies have to make everything feel unmagical and normal. So it's very easy to go into a place where like you dismiss something, and then, after a while, spirit stops giving you messages about it because you're not going to receive it anyways. So therefore, the more you ask your guides, your spirit guides, to help you with it, the more you'll remember, and the more you'll control the experience. From a child, we do this. And as kids, we are so naturally good at it. It's very natural to astral travel. I personally, specifically remember amazing astral travel experiences from my childhood. And now I have my 5-year-old telling me that when she's sleeping, she flies around the house at night looking for all of us. And I just smile and I say, that's great, because what's the harm, really? I mean, she feels that's really happening. And honestly, I feel like she's astral traveling too. I believe it. But there's no harm. You don't have to shut it down. Like when a kid tells you that, just be like, oh, that's cool. That's it. Just, oh, okay, interesting. A very common early astral travel experience is just to fly like down the stairs of your house into the kitchen, or even like you might have astral experiences to the bathroom or to your parents' room. It shows great mastery, actually, of the ability, because honestly, the less you question it, the easier it is to do it. That's why kids are so good at it. Our own mind can get in the way because we get nervous to leave the physical body to just float into the astral one. But honestly, it is very natural to do it. And spirit will work with you a lot when you astral travel. So it can be very intense. It's an easier and more open space when you astral travel to receive the stuff you need to hear because your ego isn't as activated. The only thing that disrupts the astral experience is the ego because it doesn't like to be out of the picture. So this is why when you start astral traveling, it can be very stressful. So here are some signs that you're astral traveling. For example, you may get sudden jolts, which when you wake up, you are like they wake you up when you're sleeping. That's when your astral and your physical body are trying to disconnect or reconnect. It can feel like a wave of adrenaline or just like panic like that. Or if you ever fall asleep and then you feel like you're falling back down. I don't know if you ever have that. Like it usually happens like, right, or you like jump or you shake, right? And it usually happens like because your astral body left before you were fully asleep. By the way, side note for the greens and the reds and the yellows and those who are a little bit more scientifically minded, I get that all this stuff can be explained with sleep cycle. I get it. I do. But the experiences that happen in an astral travel experience, they're very meaningful and fundamental for your progression. So I often say, what's the harm in just thinking, okay, maybe it is my sleep cycle and something else too. Maybe spirit works with your sleep cycle. Why not, right? That's my attitude towards these things. I believe in the science, and then I also believe in magic or some things we don't know yet. And that's what you kind of got to go with the astral travel thing. Okay, so we got the sudden jolts and that's when your astral and your physical body like blam back into each other. It's stressful. You can oftentimes also, this is another one, a vibration in your body. Like you feel things moving around you. You can feel like the bed moving around you. It can be a little nerve-wracking. You can feel your body vibrating sometimes. By the way, a lot of this is easiest when you're sleeping, although some people do say they can master it from meditation. But anyways, you'll feel movements around you. And sometimes you can feel even a levitation from your body when it's happening. There is oftentimes also a change in body temperature. You'll feel very sweaty. You'll wake up in a drenched sweat. And you can become very thirsty. And people sometimes need to sleep with a glass of water near their bed. They wake up completely dehydrated from the temperature change, which happens when they astral travel. These are signs. If you're waking up sweaty, you're waking up, you need water, you're having jolts, there's like panic, all that kind of stuff. It can be symptoms of astral travel. It can be symptoms of other things too, like if you have a panic condition or things like that. But over the years, this is what I've found. Hearing different sounds, like someone whispering in your ear, like that's happened to me. And I've had many people tell me that's happened to them. Or you hear a group of people talking about you, like you aren't even there. Okay, those are your guides talking about you, but you can hear that. You can hear nature sounds sometimes, or pulsating vibrational sounds that other people can't hear. As you shift into your astral body, this is what's happening. Your senses work differently. You don't see with your physical eyes, you see with your third eye. And you don't smell or hear the same, you feel it rather than sense it. Now this brings me to the astral sex. If you're astral traveling, you can also have astral interactions with people, and some of them are sexual. The experience are often not just physical feeling, though. They're whole body encompassing. Like you're becoming one with the other person's energy, not just taking pleasure from one another. You're becoming a part of them. It's a merging of energy. And therefore, sex on the astral plane can be extremely powerful and very emotional. And it can feel almost like earth changing in a way. Like you wake up, you're very affected. Because it's not like sex on this plane. It's very much, it feels almost like your whole self was involved. Your spiritual, your mental, emotional, even your physical body, everything. So yeah, that's what, and a lot of people are visiting exes and visiting their twin flames, and this is happening. And it's something that, you sound crazy talking about, but man, I hear it a lot. Other signs. You can have an increased heartbeat. You may notice a feeling of stress and anxiety and even panic when you jolt awake or even during the astral traveling transitions. This is the body, the ego, the human self reacting to the stress of leaving the physical body and leaving that ego behind. Floating, weightlessness, lightness, it's all part of it, a feeling over you of just not being constrained by gravity. And your ego, your human body can get stressed out by it. And one of the ones which I feel many people have but don't talk about are the visual hallucinations right before astral traveling happens. It's like watching movies in your head, ones where you can actually see them, but they make no sense. People's faces, scenes from afar. They can look like pictures or actual moving pictures. Your brain is getting ready to connect, and it's bursting with the visions the third eye is downloading on it. So if you see, I see faces, like all sorts of things, moving pictures, that's a thing. Sleep paralysis is another sign. You're awake, but you can't move, or you want to scream, but nothing comes out. You feel as though you're running through mud. All of these things have to do with your mind giving up its power to the astral force. The newbies, the new people, have the most fear with this. If you can get over that hurdle, you can go into the astral body and feel weightless and free and get the most from it. So if you want to astral travel, it is a great experience. It is scary at first. It's something you have to kind of throw your hands up in the air and give away the control to. You just have to know over time it gets easier, and you can work on yourself so much while doing it. I've had so many crazy experiences with astral traveling, and I always ask for confirmation. And in some way or other, I always get it. Like when I astral traveled to a friend I haven't spoken to in like 15 years, and the next day he randomly sent me a Facebook message just asking how I was out of the blue. I mean, I was like, wow, that's crazy. Like, obviously, his higher self in some way made him do that, you know? Or when I astral traveled to a restaurant one night and saw a friend talking to a bunch of women about me. And the next day I saw a photo of him with all these women. I didn't know he was going out. I didn't know we had plans that night. I haven't even talked to him in a while. Or, for example, when my kids were sleeping over at my in-laws once, and I astral traveled to their home, and I saw my eldest didn't have a blanket on her. She had kicked it off. And I felt myself trying to pull it up over her, but I couldn't. Because, listen, you can't interact with the physical world when you astral travel. And as we talk about astral sex, that's a whole other topic, which is just a natural progression of things, and hopefully makes more sense now that you have a bit of context about what astral projection or out-of-body experiences are. Okay. Here's the cautionary tales. I do feel like there are negative energies in all the realms. And just like there's negativity around us with people and environments and situations, in all the realms there are too. Therefore, I am super duper big on personal responsibility. Before I do anything, even before I go to bed at night, I call in God's light. Whatever you want to call it, you call it that, okay? I call it God's light. I do not welcome anything that is not of his light. And I'm strong and I'm firm about that. And I trust my guides will protect me. However you want to say it, say it. And the more adamant you are about that, the better it is. During any out-of-body experience, you are working with your angels and your guides. But if it gets too intense, you have to call in your guardian angels to protect you. I, for example, will end up doing readings in my sleep, and they do not stop. It's like one person after another lined up for a reading, and I don't know them. I get drained when this happens, but it happens when I'm not doing enough self-care. I have to take personal responsibility, stop myself in my life, and get real with how I am not taking care of my own boundaries in all areas of my life, my spiritual boundaries too. That's on me. And I ask my guides to help me with that. But just as in the physical world, some people don't have boundaries. In the spiritual world, it's the same. And that's when negative stuff can happen. So it's just important to tell energies we do not like to back off so that the good energies can work with us. And the healthier you are and the better you treat yourself, the better experiences you'll have in spiritual work. I do like to make the paranormal normal here. It's my thing. So when I talk about something like astral traveling, there are good ways to do it, and then there are ways that aren't good for you to do it. Anything that makes you feel drained or not good or sad or energetically zapped in a bad way, not good. And making sure you are taking care of yourself and asking for protection and asking to travel for your own highest good are very important priorities to have before the traveling begins. Hey, Scotty.
Okay.
So what do you think about that?
Well,
you hear me talk about this all the time, by the way.
Okay. Yes, I do. Okay.
Yes.
Now, here's the thing. I've been, I'm a believer now in the UFOs.
Yes.
I believe in past lives.
You've come a long way.
Your mom was Anne Frank in a past life, and Lady Godiva. Mm-hmm. There's so many things, all the colors, the aura color, everything. I believe in all that stuff.
We've asked a lot of you.
Yes, being a red blue.
Yes.
But I think this astral sex is where I draw the line. And I don't really think I believe in it. And here's the first thing. Okay. When I go to bed at night, and we've talked about this on the podcast before. Like if it's, I go to bed, let's say 11:30, 12 o'clock at night. As soon as I hit the pillow, within like 30 seconds, I fall asleep. Yeah. And most of the time, except for last night, which I have to tell you.
Oh my God.
Most of the time, I wake up, it's 7:30 in the morning, or if Abby wakes me up, and that's it.
Yeah.
I don't remember dreams.
I know.
I don't remember any astral sex with anybody.
Yeah.
I feel that I'm definitely an astral sex virgin. And you are too, correct?
No, Scott, I've told you that I'm not.
What do you mean?
So, that's not nice that you don't remember, but we have astral sex together. All the time. And that's so mean.
Are you?
But I've told you, okay, we wake up sometimes. I'm like, Scott, you were so sweet to me last night, and you just don't even know what happened.
Oh, hold on. Jenny, my assistant, could you give me a shot of that whiskey?
There's no Jenny, the assistant.
Please, get me a shot of that whiskey.
Your imaginary assistant.
No, she's right there. She astraled here. She
astraled to bring you whiskey. No, I told you. I tell you this all the time.
Okay.
And then maybe you just think they're dreams, but they're not.
Wait. So hold on a second.
So I just want you to know that I'm very faithful to you. That I'm only astral sexing to you.
Step back one time.
Yes.
1 second. Wait. So you're telling me we've astral sexed?
Yes.
I don't know about it.
Have you
astral raped me?
No, Scott. It's consensual.
I never consented.
You did. Your higher self is super into me.
I mean, I think, I know when I go to bed at night, you watch Dr. Pole.
I love
Maybe
Dr.
you're
Pole.
astral sexing with
I am
Dr.
not
Pole.
astral sexing with Dr. Pole.
Do you ever be confused with Dr. Pole?
Listen.
Dr. Pole?
No, listen.
Yeah.
This is what happens. Okay. This is what happens to us at night.
Right.
And we have lovely times together, and it's very romantic.
Okay. Now, Now, I want you to be honest.
Don't ruin it for me.
Fine.
Because, this is the only time we get out, just the two of us, on romantic getaways on the astral plane.
Where do we go? Bora Bora?
It's the astral plane. Sometimes we're on an island, and it's nobody's there.
Okay.
As
long as it's not that Epstein Island.
No, it isn't.
Thank God.
No,
okay. I don't want to be going there.
These are very lovely, wonderful experiences.
All right. I don't want to be going there in my astral.
You're welcome, by the way, that you're my astral sex visitation.
Right. Now, you can be honest with this.
Yeah.
And for our listeners, you can be honest. And my feelings will not be hurt. Mm-hmm. Have you ever astraled sex with anyone other than me or Dr. Pole?
Okay. So I've never astral sexed with Dr. Pole.
Okay.
But I am quarantine obsessed with the incredible Dr. Pole. Okay. Let's get it out there for whatever reason. I like that show. It's my wholesome escape. Okay. Back to you.
Fine. So me.
Yes, once. Okay. So once I did have, okay. So this is my story. All right. Here we go.
Fine.
I had astral sex with somebody.
Dear God.
But I'm telling you, it was I feel like this person is a past life person who's, I know it sounds nuts, but I feel like he's still on the other side. Okay. And I feel like I knew him in a past life, actually.
It's not Rod Serling, is it?
Who's that? No.
Twilight Code guy.
I feel like we must have been married in another life or something, because it felt like that comfortable factor between the two of us.
Okay.
And I didn't know him, but I felt so sad. Oh, yeah, you. I remember you. Okay. And we had this, but it was many, many years ago. But it sticks with me because it was very real, and it felt very familiar. It was somebody who I knew and I loved, but didn't love now. And I knew that there was a difference between the two. I knew he was from another time and another version of myself.
Okay. Possibly Chris Farley?
No.
Saturday Night Live?
No.
No, okay. Now, I was talking with a couple people.
It's so nice to open up to you because, you just make fun of me.
Yeah, okay. Well, you just told me you astral sexed with some weirdo from the Ming Dynasty or something.
A past life.
Now, I have a few more questions. I was talking to a couple people about it, because I was, trying to, figure out what all this was what it was about. And, some people were saying that you could astral, and I hope this doesn't happen to us because I know you have me off on these island getaways now.
Yeah, all the
at
time.
Night. But you could astrally get pregnant.
I do not believe that.
Okay. Well, some people do. That you could astrally get pregnant. Is that a thing?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I'm sure there's a lot of branches to this.
Okay.
I like to keep things pretty basic
Okay.
here. And you do have to keep one foot in reality a little bit.
Okay.
Like, I don't have an astral baby that I go visit at night and, like, take care of and all that.
Okay.
Now, have I been pregnant in astral travel situations? Yeah, I have.
Okay.
You know, I have. But I feel like these are just different experiences that have to do with my growth and development on the other side.
All
but
right.
I don't have, like, a baby over there that I'm raising,
Well,
like
good.
another family.
No, here's the good news with
like
that.
astral family.
There is good news with that.
Yeah.
The person that told me this said if you ask the archangel, Michael,
Yes.
he can cut the tie and then the baby will disappear.
Okay.
But you will have wounds, and then you have to contact Archangel Raphael. And he could seal the astral wound.
Well, angels are often called in for healing purposes. And I do, but I was raised, not everybody was raised Catholic. So it's kind of hard to like promote the saints and the angels to everybody. But Saint Michael is somebody I personally do call in a lot for protection. Everybody can. He's available to everybody. It's just, I get what she's saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she was also saying that a man in the astral plane could transform into a woman.
Oh, that's happened to me too.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
With me? So I'm the woman and you're the man?
Yeah, like we've switched roles.
So sometimes you are putting your
Yep.
daddy ding-dong in my part.
Yep.
That's disgusting.
That's happened.
Okay, that's not happening. Okay, I don't...
Sometimes you're a sexy female.
I've already lost my sex symbol status last week when I told that one story, but...
That's true. That's true. You can play with genders on the other plane because think about it. When you're in your astral body, you don't have physical parts anymore.
Okay.
So the feminine and the masculine have nothing to do with your astral body. That's a human identifier.
So you're saying sometimes...
Your higher self is not gender. There's no gender to your higher self.
Sometimes, at like 2:30 in the morning, I am astrally a woman. I got boobs and everything.
Stop.
And you're kind of doing it with me.
It's more about we're not separate entities. We're like two energies merging. And that's the thing. Like when you're on another plane, you leave your physical body behind. You're more of your higher self. Your higher self does not have gender or race or any sort of identifying qualities that we think are so important on this planet. Does that make sense? That makes sense to you. I know it does.
Could I get disease? Like, can I get astral disease?
No, but you can wake up feeling very toxic and drained if you've been astral traveling.
But I
with the
can't
wrong
catch like syphilis.
situation. No,
Okay. So like if the astral partner has gonorrhea, I can't get that?
no.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because there's no diseases when you're in your astral body, Scott. Diseases are a human condition
Okay.
of the physical body. There's no physical body.
So
So you can have like spiritual or energetic repercussions, but you can't have physical ones.
okay. So yes, I like that's where that lady was talking about the demons.
So
Like I can do it with a demon.
here's my thing with that. I am big on the personal responsibility part of this where you have to take care of the energy you're playing with. Like don't go looking for stuff or open yourself up to stuff that's not good for you. Just like you shouldn't hang out with people that aren't good for you, you should make sure on the other side you ask spirit to only surround you with energies that are good for you.
Can I astral sex with someone who has passed?
Yeah, you can.
I can.
Well, yeah, that's more of a visitation, I would
Okay.
say.
So if,
I don't hear about that as much, but I have heard of it. I have not done that myself, but I know people that have happened with them.
okay.
Yes.
So I can. So if I want to go back and astral sex with Napoleon,
You
That's a go.
usually astral travel with people you've had an actual bond with.
okay.
That's why when people say that they're astral traveling to like people that they don't know or they don't have like let's say I was like obsessed with Britney Spears and I'm like, oh my
Right.
God, I astral traveled to her. Like that doesn't make sense because the other person has to have a bond with you. Their higher self wouldn't let you in.
What about if it's like your mom and she was Lady Godiva? Could she then go back and kind of do it with Lady Godiva, which in essence would be doing it with herself?
You can slightly time travel when you astral travel because it's on a different plane.
All right. Well, the Mystic Michaela spiritual family also had, and like we said, 46% of them have had astral sex.
Yeah.
I apparently now that goes up. It's going to go to 46.2%.
Well, you don't remember it.
because I have had it
But
too.
what happened last night? You said something happened last night.
Well, last night
Because we talked about this.
Yeah, I did wake up at like 2:30 in the morning.
What happened?
And I never, like I told you, I never wake up.
Yes, that's weird.
And I had felt that someone was trying to like unbutton my pants.
Oh, come on,
No,
Scott.
Seriously.
Are you serious?
Yeah. And it was like, this is weird. It was like it wasn't a human.
What was it?
It could have been like one of those star seeds you guys talk about.
Like a little alien?
Hopefully it wasn't Ryan or something like that. Maybe it was Megan Fox. I don't know. But, it looked more like an alien.
Okay.
Yeah. But, I felt right back to bed. Nothing else happened.
Okay.
I'm calling it, maybe I blocked it. An astral blank block.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah. And this, after this episode's aired, I'm worried now because
Why?
the Amish community in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, they're going to be all over this.
Yeah.
They're going to be doing with this to me all night now.
They're going to be astral bugging.
They're going to be
taking on astral buggy rides.
Now that they know that this could happen,
Yeah.
Jebediah and Amos and my friends,
They have more access to you.
I'm in trouble. Anyway, let me just read a few of these and see if this makes any sense.
Okay.
So a lot of them are saying, like, I'm having a hard time here because a lot of them are saying, like, they're doing it a lot with Matt Damon.
Yeah.
They're doing it a lot with, Brad Pitt.
Right.
And those are not astral sex. Those are dreams, right?
Those are more dreams, like lucid dreams or things like that.
Okay. And then, like, some are, like, saying it's a lot of, like I'm with the person. I'm with my husband now, or boyfriend, whatever. And then they're doing it with their twin flame.
Yes. Oh, my God. All the flippin' time people.
That's real?
Yeah, I talked about that in my speech before. Yeah, so twin flames are such a strong connection that it's very common because most of us who've had a twin flame relationship, we didn't have closure. So what you do is you can go back and you can talk to them, have conversations, just be held, just, I don't know, visit, just hash it out. And sometimes you can have an astral sex encounter with them.
Okay.
It's very, very, very common, and it's actually most common with the twin flame relationships more than anybody else. Although you can astral travel to friends or family or things. Yes, that happens a lot too, but the twin flame stuff, that's where it gets it's easiest for twin flames to do this.
Oh, boy. Well, let me read one of these.
Okay.
See if we can make sense of this.
Okay.
I've had sex in lucid and non-lucid dreams very frequently. I don't even know what that means to begin with.
Okay. She has a lot of sex dreams.
Okay. What's lucid versus non-lucid?
Lucid is when you ever have, you don't dream.
I don't dream.
If you've had a dream where you're like, I feel like I'm dreaming. Like that. That's a lucid dream. Different than astral travel.
Okay.
Yeah.
However, I'm a very vivid and active dreamer.
Okay.
Every single night, always intense. So I thought having sex with known people, faces are always distorted or fuzzy, but I know who it is. So they don't see the face. But I've woken up having, finishing, like an orgasm, when I've had sexy time with either my man, or a spirit figure. I don't know what this all means. All I know is I feel really gifted and plagued with my dream ability. It's exhausting. So what is going on?
I'd have to talk to her to be like, how real did that feel? Because what it sounds like in the description is more sounds like I would say she's a really vivid dreamer, and that's different than an astral travel. There is a difference between the two.
Okay.
So dreaming is when, oh my gosh, I'm in the middle of it. It feels really real. Your body can even, respond to it in the dream. Whereas in astral travel, it's more of a spiritual, and you feel it, but it's more of a spiritual experience. And I guess there is a distinction. And that sounds more like a dream or like a lucid dream, like a very vivid dream.
All right. Mark wanted to know if the size of his thing could be larger in the astral sex.
Yes.
Okay. Mark, that's good to know. This is a latecomer. She came in late. She wanted to know if we could get this story in, so I did.
Okay.
So we got it in. Oh, my God. I don't know if you can still use stories about astral sex. I know you said we had one more hour to get them in, and I think it's been 2, so sorry if it's kind of late. All right, thanks for the backstory.
She's so sweet. She must be like indigo or blue.
But my experiences,
She's like apologizing a lot.
Definitely indigo. But my experiences are crazy. So I think it was my twin flame died 3 years ago. He comes to see me in my dreams often, and sometimes they are sex dreams. I'm totally happily married, and I almost feel violated in the morning. I feel like I've cheated on my husband.
Yeah. Well, you didn't cheat.
Did she cheat or not cheat?
You didn't cheat. The problem with the twin flame thing is it's so strong, and sometimes it is unwelcome, and they can be very persistent, even that one's passed, which is sad. But there could be a part of you that feels guilty, or you don't want to say no more. You can cut a cord. You can cut a tie. You can ask your guides or angels or whatever you want to call them to come in and say, like, I am done astral traveling to this person. Please put up a wall, maybe in the next lifetime or whatever. So it sounds like that's something she needs to do, because you should never feel violated. In any situation ever, even in your astral situations. But yeah, that sounds like she needs to probably put up some sort of cord cutting or put to bed something there, have her own closure so that doesn't happen anymore. But I believe that's happening to her for sure.
Okay. Another person wrote, she could be doing normal things. Mm-hmm. She could be like sitting on the couch, watering the plants, walking around her apartment. But at the same time, she feels something happening to her.
Yeah.
Like a pleasurable experience from another realm.
Okay.
And usually it's happening with an ex.
I think that's interesting that she's talking about it, that it's happening when she does kind of meditative chores.
Like
cleaning or walking or watering plants.
She could be just sitting on the couch.
Or just sitting on the couch, zoning out. So I said this in my speech. Some people can astral travel when they're just quiet or meditating, or they just it's like you think it's daydreaming, but it's more intense. And it is possible some people just have like little slippery astral bodies, and they're easier to get out and go do things. I hear this a lot with kids. Kids will zone out and then come back and tell you where they just were. And you're just like, you weren't sleeping. You were just staring at the window or whatever. Like, what did you just do? So that just sounds like she never lost that ability. And it tends that she's going to exes. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you always go back to the exes because you didn't have closure.
Right.
And it's something where, like, there's a part of you that's just like, there's, like, unrequited this or that or unsaid things. So your astral body's curious.
Yeah.
And it wants to go over there. Because you usually have, like, a soul contract situation with an ex or a twin flame or anybody. And your soul contract wants to be like, hey, let's just get a closing statement on whatever this just was, or clean up what I was supposed to learn. So that's what your astral body does. It will try to pick up pieces of the lessons and bring them back to the relevancy in your own life. By the way, this stuff can get way more active around a full moon and a new moon. So notice the moon cycles when you're, and you will feel like you're sleeping like crap too when it happens. Like you slept all night, but you wake up exhausted. It's another way to know.
I mean, here's the thing. I mean, there's a lot of upside to this because, one, like I said earlier, we're in the pandemic. People aren't getting out much.
Yeah.
You can't possibly, but most likely you're not going to get pregnant. You can't get a disease. I mean, this is very safe.
You're finding
for the most
a lot
part,
of
unless
benefits.
you find like one of these weird demon things.
Yeah.
All right, let's do a couple more.
Okay.
We do have a person, like we said earlier. We're going to just go with the letter J for her name.
Yes.
She's from Belgium.
She's not.
No, she's not. But we're trying to hide her
She's
identity.
anonymous.
Yeah.
And honestly, when you hear her story, you'll be like, yeah, that's why you're anonymous. We get it.
Yeah.
But she's totally normal person. Full-time job.
Yeah,
she is normal, Scott.
Well, right. I mean, right now it's weird because she's actually practicing on our couch. So I don't know why she would be doing that in front of us. And it seems very fun, actually. So she's having a good time. Let me just do this other person, our name. Another twin flame one. This recently happened with my twin flame. It felt so incredibly real. I haven't talked to him in years, but in the month or two before, both he and his wife were on social media stalking me, and he was on his wife too, I guess, and he was on my mind often.
Yeah.
Since that, when they were checking her out, they had the astral travel sex.
Oh.
She didn't. Now, once she did it, it was over with. She doesn't really think about him too much. She said it's almost like she needed it to happen to break the bond.
Yeah.
Maybe she called on like Raphael and stuff, and she just can't believe she's even posting this. But
I know that's the thing. Like with these things, it's like it sounds nuts.
But I mean,
but it's
like,
so real feeling,
right? It's just like, but it's kind of. I mean, that's really weird to me. Like,
here's my thought about am I crazy or not? And I've said this to a couple people, like, and you've heard me, this is my theory on this. If you're wondering if you're crazy, you're not crazy. Because crazy people don't wonder if they're crazy. So if you're sitting there and you're like, is this crazy? Like, am I nuts? Like, did this happen? Right there. You're not. Like something, just take it for what it is. You don't always have to understand everything that's happening or the reasons or the logic or how or the mechanics or the physics. But you can be like, but what, let's take it back home, I say. What does this mean to me? What feelings did this open up in me? And how can I use this to reflect on what's going on in my personal life right now? That's what the point is. Because we can get really wrapped up in like, did I cheat? Or what does this mean? Or, am I being violated? Or it's like, hey, wait a second. Let's just take it home. What's going on with me right now? I think that's the lesson you can take from it so that it's helpful. But yeah, astral sex. It's happening, Scott.
I don't know. All right. Well, Jay's over there. Well, let's get her a towel, get her a glass of water.
Yeah.
She's going to need it. She's got to answer. First of all, she's got to answer my 5 questions to see if she's of sound mind and body to do the interview. Let's go get her.
Let's get her. So we are here with Jay, and she is a Mystic Michaela spiritual family member, and she is coming on to bravely share her really hot astral sex stories.
Oh my God.
So you have to make sure she's of sound mind and body.
Yes. As Amanda, who barely passed the test, I don't even know if she passed last week.
Our purple bomber. Yeah.
You now have to pass if you're of sound mind and body. Are you willing, first of all, to take the test?
Yes, and hi guys.
Hi, Jay. Thank you so much.
Okay. She's coming all the way from Belgium.
Yeah. I have the Belgium accent, right?
Yes, or South Africa, or somewhere like that. All right. So here's
far away.
Yes. Here is your first question. Would you attend a Miley Cyrus concert?
Well, I haven't, but I probably would.
You would?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Does that make me crazy?
No. Look. I might, at the end of the test, I'll tell you if you pass. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. I take notes. All right. Number 2. Can you remember these 5 words? Okay. So I'm going to give you 5 words. See if you can remember them. Okay.
Okay.
Red Jasper, Amish, Jumanji, UFO, and narcissist.
Okay. So Red Jasper, Amish, UFO, narcissist, and Jumanji.
Okay. You're not allowed to write them down.
She did. She wrote them down.
I'm going to nail it by cheating.
But she came all prepared.
All right. Cross that off. Cross that
You
off.
saw me looking to the right.
All right.
Yeah,
that question is disqualification. All right. Number 3. Okay.
Oh, you ask her if she knows her aura.
Oh, yeah. Well, that'll be in the last one.
Okay, yeah.
Well, right now I would say it's yellow because she wrote it down, but I know she's not yellow.
Okay. No, just yellow tendencies.
Yes. Do you think Keanu Reeves is attractive?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Definitely.
Good answer. Mm-hmm. Did Carrie Underwood win American Idol? I know you're from Belgium.
I don't think I think she was in the running, but I don't know if she won or not.
Yeah, I don't know the answer
Kelly
either.
Clarkson
She didn't win.
Oh, okay. All right.
Taylor Hicks won.
Okay, yeah.
Taylor Hicks won?
Yeah, I think that's the season Taylor Hicks won.
Even though she was like more successful than the winner.
Oh,
though.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
That season, yeah.
No, it wasn't Taylor Hicks.
Wasn't it?
I don't know. All right. We're scratching that question too. The last question, other than your oral question, which we'll ask. What is your favorite holiday?
Christmas.
Christmas. Not Boxing Day?
She's from Belgium.
No.
Oh, right. You're from Belgium. And you know your aura colors.
Yes, I am purple with blue.
All right. I think she passes. It's close, but I think she passes.
So Jay is somebody who, I just feel the need to establish this. She's like a normal person with like a full-time job, and she interacts with people regularly.
Okay.
And she's like, you know what I mean? Like she's like you'd never look at her and be like, oh, this chick has some astral sex stories, you know? But she does. And I think that's like the big thing. People have misconceptions that like if you have astral sex stories, you're cuckoo crazy or whatever.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm starting.
You still think that we are?
I'm starting to believe a little bit more after your talk.
Yeah.
I'm not there yet. But let's see. Maybe she can make me a believer, and maybe she'll tell us one of her stories.
Okay. So go ahead, Jess. What story do you have?
Okay, well, first off, I want to say that I know it sounds crazy because I remember a few years ago, I saw on like a talk show where it said, woman has sex with 20 ghosts and has a spirit husband. And I thought that was like insane until something like that started to happen to me. And then it just shows you can't judge things because it's going to come back and bite you in the butt.
It's true.
So, okay, so I have like a number of them, right? So they've kind of started in the last few years. I'm not sure if it's because I've been in like a dry spell or what, but I don't even put them fully like in my journal because I'm like embarrassed and afraid that like someone would go and like find it and read it. Okay. So I'm spilling all the details for the listeners.
Oh, Jay, thank you.
That I don't even tell like my friends about.
Okay.
So,
wow.
Yeah.
Now,
okay. So I have.
Wait, can I ask you one question before you continue?
Yeah.
Do you live alone?
No, I have a friend I live with.
Okay. Now, are you sure it's not this friend that's coming in the middle of the night to do things to you?
I'm 100% positive.
You're positive?
Yes.
Okay. Because that could be a possibility. Or maybe
I haven't had any female ones though. Female ones. They're all male.
So you live with a female.
She lives with a female.
Okay.
I live with female. Yes.
But maybe this female, just go with me here, unlocks the door, and other people come in the middle of the night. They're male. Is that possible?
Well, not really, because in these things, like a lot of them part of them are invisible, or their face is translucent, or I can see through them, and then parts of their body look like a regular like person. So it's very like strange like that.
All right.
So I actually went through my journal. So there's two types. There's one sometimes where like I'm into it, and then I'm like a little freaky, and then when I come out of it, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so ashamed. Like sometimes when you like do something when you're drunk the night before and you regret it.
You feel violated.
So, Mrs. Michaela, which one do you think we should hear first?
I think we should hear the crazy one.
The crazy one.
Yeah.
Okay, let's hear the crazy one first.
Okay, so there was one little excerpt that I put in my journal that had kind of like words, but you'll get what they mean. So, okay, so it started out that I was just in my bed. So they all start out where I'm like in my bed, and there's not really a transition to a dream. Like I know a lot of people like might get astral dreams confused with like just regular sex dreams, but all these start and happen in my bed, right? So like I'm going to like bed, and sometimes like right away I can feel like energy around me, like waves, like pressure, or someone rubbing my hand. And then like as I go into more of a deep kind of meditative state where I'm kind of relaxing, kind of like falling asleep but still alert, like I can still think, and it doesn't seem like it's kind of like an in-between twilight phase, which I think is the easiest way to describe it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Now, just a question. Does like sometimes does like your like heater break or your air condition's too low? Anything
Scott doesn't
like that?
believe in astral sex.
Like is it possible like maybe like, you're dehydrated or anything like that before this happens?
I don't think so, because it happens quite a bit, and like I'm in regular like mind. Like actually, when if I've been drinking a night, it doesn't happen.
Okay,
so it's like when I'm sober.
Okay.
Oh wow! So it's actually even more powerful when she's like completely sober.
Right, Jenny, with the whiskey already. Come on.
Yeah, yeah. When I'm drinking, I just pass out and like just go into normal drink state.
All right.
So. Okay, so this little excerpt. So first it started out. So I was kind of like in my bed. I had one of my spirit guides. So I was a masculine and kind of a feminine spirit guide. So my masculine one is named Timothy. So I wrote in my journal, this was December 27th, 2019. So this is the only one that I found that I actually wrote down, but I have other ones stored in my memory. But okay, so he came in and he wrote B on my stomach. So this is when I'm like fully kind of awake, open my, like, you know what I mean? I can open my eyes.
Yeah.
And then, so I started to go into a deeper meditative state, because instead of seeing black, I started to see through my mind's eye. So he showed me like a maze in my mind's eye that looked like just a kind of like a maze in my mind's eye. So I stopped seeing black and I started to see this picture. And then I felt another presence on top of me.
Oh my God.
Other than this guy? So two people?
Yeah. So it was but the other one was my spirit guide, was not like a creeper.
Okay.
And then I felt another presence on top of me. And then I put in my journal, felt like a D, so a penis, like it was trying to hump me. And then I made a mention of another time, because I didn't write about these things. I wrote, a couple of weeks ago, I felt someone holding me down and pressing hard on my face. And when I went to hold out my hand, I felt multiple D's. So basically what happened was, like, I felt my face being pressed down. And at this point, so sometimes when I close my eyes, I just see like black, but then eventually I feel like my mind's eye kind of kicks in and I can see my room around me.
Okay. Yeah.
And then like I put out my hand, like, because I felt like something pressing down on my face, and I like kind of put out my hand, and all of a sudden I feel a penis in my hand. And I was like, oh my God. And it was like kind of shocking. Like I didn't see anything in front of me. Like it was invisible. I didn't see a person there. Right. So then I move it over. So I move my hand over, and then another D in my hand, and I'm trying to get away from them.
Oh my God.
So yeah. So, and like spirit penises come in all shapes and sizes. Like guys, I'm telling you, I've seen like massive ones, the skinniest pencil ones, and I've seen like the shortest mushroom ones that like, it's like the craziest thing ever.
So wait a second. Are you sure? Like for some reason, you weren't like invited to like one of those like porn sets where they have all the guys and the one girl?
I know.
Like it wasn't anything like that?
You know what? This feels past
They're
life
treating
related.
me like a glory hole.
Okay, so it was
She's
like so you didn't see anybody?
No, I did. This one I didn't see anyone.
You just saw their ding dongs.
I didn't even see it. I just felt it in my hand. So at this time, sometimes I can see them. So I'll get into it like that another story after. But sometimes I can see them like where, like a lot of times I can't see their face. Like I'll see like parts of their body. Sometimes I'll see the face, but it's translucent. And then other times, like they're almost like completely invisible, or I'll see clothes on them, and then their body's invisible. So one experience, the last experience that I can remember.
Wait, before we get to that last one.
Okay.
No, for the clothes. But
I was interested in the clothes.
Yeah, well, that's another. She's going to go into that experience.
Okay.
So basically, what you're saying is you cannot see their faces, their head, but you can see their other head.
She sees their penises.
Yeah, like sometimes I don't. Most times I don't actually see I just feel it in my hand, or I feel them on top of me, or they're translucent. Like I feel the pressure, and then it depends how deep I go into that kind of meditative state. And sometimes the more into that state I go, the more I can see. But sometimes I'll just reach out and I'll feel it, and I'm like, and when I'm like not in the mood, I like smack it away, and I've been known to like dig my nails in and to try and get them away from me.
God. Do they go away, or do they force themselves?
Sometimes they'll go away, and then other times like I have to get some support. So I ask like my spirit guides to come help them get away, or I ask Archangel Michael to come protect me.
See?
Okay. Did your roommate come in to help or no?
No, she's like passed out.
She doesn't come in.
Like doesn't know anything that's going on.
Now, does this happen when you're more exhausted in life, or your boundaries are low, or does it not make difference? Do you notice?
The only difference is that it happens more when I've been in a dry spell, when I haven't been sexually active in the real 3D world.
Okay, got it.
So how often would you say this happens to you?
Honestly, there was sometimes that was happening like a few times a week, and then sometimes it can go like every few weeks to like once a month. You know what I mean? Like it really depends.
Is it now? I know you don't know what the guys look like, but you know what they look like down there. So is it the same looking ones down there every time?
No, they're all different. And the thing is, okay, like the biggest thing too, and the difference is that you don't feel penetration. Right? But you feel like kind of a rubbing on tops, if you get what I mean, right? Like you can't, so there would be no G-spot orgasms. It would just be a clitoral orgasm, right?
Oh, so you, wait, whoa, hold on a second. Wait, let's step back here. Okay. So what you're telling me is that about
is this
3
too
times.
X-rated?
Okay, let me just recap this for the listener here. So you're telling me about 3 times a week, when you're not getting
not all the time.
Okay. About 3 times a week or whatever, but not all the time. A bunch of faceless guys, but you could see their other parts pretty clearly.
Or feel them at least.
Right. Well, she knew the sizes and the shapes.
Because she can feel them.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so you might feel. So you're like Helen Keller of this thing.
She's like, Helen Keller.
You're like a Helen Keller.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. And then at the end of it, I don't know how long it lasts, you basically finish. You conclude your...
Yeah, you like orgasm?
So there was one, the latest one I can think of, that there was like a guy that walked up to the side of my bed, and this one I could actually see he was in a beige suit. It looked like a 1920s suit, and he was wearing like a white shirt underneath. I think he had his shirt kind of buttoned down because I could see a little bit of chest hair, but it was like trim, and he was like muscular. And I remember thinking he was good looking, so I think I could see somewhat facial features, but I think he may have been the one that was like kind of translucent where you can kind of see through them. So you don't get a very clear look at their face, but I could see his actual body. And then I was like being bad. So I was like down for that one. And like, you actually,
you're like, you're cute. You're a hot ghost guy.
And ashamed the next day.
Yeah,
I was like, okay, I'm down for him.
You're like, I'm down for you, ghost boy.
And at the end, okay, wait, hold on.
But if they're hot ghost boys, they got a chance with her.
Okay, right.
Yeah,
this is like my second week in a row of being like conjuring up my inner Howard Stern here.
Okay, go ahead.
Like, and by the way, Amanda, our purple bomber, could have definitely used this guy on her honeymoon and wedding.
Amanda needs ghost guy.
That could have changed her whole thing.
Jay should give her the number.
So what you're telling me is, at the end of the day or the end of the night, whatever, you are completely satisfied, and the actual thing, I don't know what happens to a woman down there when that goes. I know for a guy what happens, but that has happened to you?
Yeah. So like I've like come out of it. Well, it's just like regular sex. Sometimes there's happy endings and sometimes there's not,
so
sometimes you'll be worked up and then I'm like up and out of my bed and then I'm like, well, there was no finish there. And then other times it's like I like, come out from that phase and like, something had just happened because I'm at the end of that. You know what I mean?
But
yes.
Okay, so it did. So sometimes there's that happy ending.
So sometimes she says it's like a regular sexual experience where sometimes you're just like, oh, that was fun, but I didn't come. And then sometimes she's like, oh no, I came.
When you were with Dr. Pole, do you finish?
I don't visit sexually Dr. Pole, Scott, or ever in any way. I'm obsessed with this show.
But there's no like nothing touches you down there, like, or you're doing it yourself.
Oh, he thinks, are you touching yourself?
No, I'm not.
See?
Because I wake up.
No,
I wake up and it happens. Like, and I'm still kind of like at the tail end of it. So you can kind of feel, let's say, the pulsating, right? So you had the release, right?
Wow.
Right.
Oh,
and
wow.
Yeah.
Has
my
anyone
physical
ever
body did too.
Now, since this happens so often.
That sounds hot.
Yeah, it's interesting. This is fascinating. This is fascinating because has any so now you've done this a few times. Does anyone do you say to your roommate, hey, could you just come in, midnight tonight and just watch me while I sleep? I know that's creepy, and see what happens. Like, if you suggested that to her.
Yeah, but it's so unlike planned, I don't think she'd see anything because sometimes I don't even see anything. You know what I mean? Like, even
she might see you
some of these people that come in.
She might see you going back and forth, like you were saying, that pulsating thing.
Well, even when I come to, it's not like my hands are there. You know what I mean? It's like,
I do.
Like my body is kind of paralyzed. You know what I mean? Okay. Like it's in the same position, but I feel
yeah.
So do you feel like it was with your astral self and not your physical self? Although your physical self has an aftermath.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't know, maybe at some point there's a joining, but yeah, like I feel, and with the astral, you can always tell kind of when you kind of join back in, but a lot of times I kind of stay. It's like I'm in the astral phase, but I'm still in my bed. You know what I mean? But eventually when my eyes are closed, I eventually see my room around me and I can get, you know what I mean? I can get up and go, but all these astral experiences happen in my bed. And I don't, it's just a smooth transition from when I'm just lying in bed, with my eyes open and then closing my eyes and then they begin. Like it's almost like it's a separate dimension. I don't know.
Yeah, a different
it's so
plane.
hard to explain. It's so hard to even understand fully myself. It only happened the last few years. Like this isn't something that's always happened to me. And it's pretty crazy, to explain. Like, if I hadn't experienced these type of situations, I don't think I would believe someone else who talked about them.
I believe you just because I know you to be a logical, down to earth person, and you don't ever talk about this stuff like to anybody.
No.
This is that's why
we got the scoop here.
Yeah, that's why she's being so brave coming on and telling us like stuff that she doesn't even tell anybody.
Now, this is okay. So I have a couple more questions. Does it have to be your bed? Like if you're at a hotel,
that's a good
could
one.
it be that bed or no?
I'm trying to think.
Or never happened that way?
Like I've had astral experiences. Like I remember one time I was on vacation and I had an astral experience where I left my body and I went out on our balcony, but there was no, I think it can happen. I just can't recall, but I think it could possibly happen somewhere else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Have you ever had an interaction with like
where I'm lying down?
Have you ever had an interaction with an ex?
Like I've had probably sex dreams, but not astral.
Not
dreams.
astral. So
like,
this is
and
way
there's there's a big difference. A lot of times sex dreams are different places. And then in astral, you can think as if your logical self. Whereas almost with dreams, almost like you're watching a movie or your words come out without thinking about them, you know?
Yes.
So there's that extra layer that you're like, your mind's still awake. But like sometimes when I'm in my bed and I'm like just like awake and I feel my bed kind of shaking, I'm like, is someone trying to hump me right now? Because I do not feel like being violated right now, and I feel my bed shaking, but I can't like.
That's
see
the vibration thing I was
anything.
talking about.
That's
when I was, because I did like a little speech before this, and I said, yeah, like a vibration of the bed or your body is like an indication that it's about to happen.
Okay. Where were you at Where were you at 2:30 in the morning last night? Because I had an experience. I just want to make sure that
it wasn't Jay.
It wasn't Jay.
Oh, I was in bed.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's where it happened. So that wasn't you, was it?
I don't think I astral travel.
I don't feel like Jay would do that to you.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
She wouldn't do that to me.
I don't feel like that's Jay's.
No.
Okay.
I never see people I know. It's like, honestly, it's people like, yeah.
Do you feel like it's past life related?
Like, I recognize.
Do you ever think that? Because that's what I think.
Maybe the hot guy that I was like excited about. And then sometimes like I'm aggressive and then I'm like, oh my God, it's like, what was I doing there? And I'm like embarrassed after because I was like in the mood. And then I'm like, and then I think I started like scare them off sometimes because then I'm like grabby. And then I think about it after. I'm like, I'm never telling anyone about this. This is so embarrassing.
You freaked out the ghost guy?
They were like, get away from me. And I'm like grabbing them. I'm like, come on, let's go.
Is this the first time you've ever told this to anyone or you've told people?
I told a little bit. I don't know if I told anyone about the astral sex. Probably my roommate, but not very much because I don't get the best reaction.
Wow.
She kind of believes me, but she kind of is like, well, that's weird. I'd be careful with that.
It's hard for people to relate to.
Okay.
You know what it is? And it's hard,
I mean, I guess I have like just one last question. Would you? Yeah. Okay, and you can be honest with us here. Do you? I mean, as you've been so honest already, do you prefer which is better? Is it the regular sex or the astral sex? I mean, I'm assuming you had the other one.
Yeah. So, the one good thing about astral is that sometimes you deal with like very large things, right?
Right.
And that might hurt in real life, but in astral, there's no pain part of it to it, you know? But then sometimes there's not as much pressure as the real life. So I think I'm going to go with obviously the real life thing, guys.
Okay. Real life, but it's close. It's close.
She had to think about it. She had to kind of go back and forth.
No, definitely real life. But that was the one pro I think to like having it in astral is there's no like you can deal with different big sizes like the biggest size you've ever seen, and there's no pain. That would be good in real life.
Yeah,
I understand that.
And Mark was asking about that earlier.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're all different shapes and size. Like I've seen some weird ones, like way weirder than I've seen like in real life. That's for sure.
Wow. This is This is just fascinating.
Jay, thank you so much for coming on and telling us such. And I feel like you're going to help a lot of people who are having their own experiences and feel a little funny about it. So I appreciate you coming on and explaining this to us so much.
Okay, well, thanks so much.
Bye.
I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.
Well, that was the Astral Sex edition of this podcast. If you're still with me, thank you so much. Thank you to Jay. for being so open. Thank you to the Mystic Michaela Spiritual family for giving us your stories and your input. And as always, this podcast is for you and about you, and we appreciate you all. Take care, guys.